Hi, and welcome again to Decentraland Art Week, our series of how-to workshops on starting out in Decentraland and creating your very first art gallery. Last time, so workshop one in this series with Nico Earnshaw of the Creator Hub was talking about how you create your first gallery using the Creator Hub. This time, we're going to be talking about how to launch that gallery, how to publish it, where to publish it, all the options that are available to you in Decentraland. And then in the second half of this video, we're going to be talking with Kim and Dana from Decentraland marketing team about how, when you have your gallery, you could promote it, share it, get visitors to visit everything that you've created in your world or in Decentraland itself, in Genesis City. So, Nico, are we ready? I'm really excited about this. So we created this gallery in our last workshop, which everyone can find during Decentraland Art Week. We're going to be publishing them afterwards on the Decentraland YouTube channel. What do we do next once we have this gallery?
Yes. So since last week, I did some minor polishing to the scene. I put this gargoyle outside. Looks better here. I also changed the model of the gargoyle that we were using as a click element for this, which seems to fit the purpose a bit better. I adjusted the size of all of these canvases based on the real measurements of each image. Just doing, some math, seeing the image size and making sure that the scale follows the same proportions in this case. What else? So before we go into the publishing, I wanted to maybe dive a little bit deeper into some extra details. One thing that I forgot to mention last week when we were talking about NFTs is the following. This is a common mistake that I think is a good idea to mention to prevent people falling into this. So often when you're copy pasting these contract addresses from an NFT, you'll find that they sometimes have uppercase letters. Now, for this to run properly, all of the letters in this long string need to be lowercase letters. So here, for example, I see an F, a C, and another F. And in some places where you're copying this, you will unfortunately find the string with the uppercase version of each one of these letters, and you will have to change those manually. If you just paste it as is with the uppercase version, it won't be recognized, and you won't see your image rendered in the painting. So yeah, you will have to either manually go letter by letter changing those, or maybe use an AI tool to help you out to make that easier. But it doesn't really make a difference. I mean, in every case, you're able to change the letters from uppercase to lowercase, and it will still point to the same image. It shouldn't make any difference other than it doesn't work at all.
That's super interesting. So if it's not working, check your letters to make sure there isn't one letter in an uppercase.
Yes, that is a common problem. I have fallen for it myself more than once, so keep that one in mind. And then I wanted to do just a little bit of give you a little bit of a taste of what you can do with smart items if you go down the crazy rabbit hole of smart items. So we saw a little bit of how you can, for example, add a click behavior to this booth and to the images as well, and how you can use these social media icons also to add a link to your social media. But with smart items, you can do a whole lot more. So I wanted to give just a little bit of a demonstration of one kind of dumb but fun example, which is to add confetti to your scene. So if you look through the collection that you have here with the smart items category, you'll find that there is one which is called confetti. If you hover over it, this might be too small to read for you, but the description says that it's a confetti explosion that can be used to celebrate. The item is invisible until it explodes, triggered from another smart item. So if I drag into my scene, you will notice that, sorry, I should drag it up just a little bit higher so you can see the arrow. So it has an arrow that points in the direction in which a confetti will burst out. So let's point this towards the door. But if I enter the preview, I will not see anything. This item, as the description says, is invisible until activated. So the ways I can activate it are quite diverse. I can use buttons or levers, but in this case, I think a trigger area is the best option. So basically, this is an invisible area in the scene that whenever the player walks into it, it will trigger something. as it's now, it's probably too small, and players might not necessarily run into it if they walk in. So let's make it just a little bit bigger, so we ensure that any person who walks into the building is gonna step into it. And if we, look at the settings for the trigger area, we'll find that there is a trigger event when the player enters the area and an event when the player leaves the area. In this case, we want to add an action when the player enters the area. And if we click this plus sign, we'll now be able to select from all of the smart items that are in my scene. In this case, we want to go for confetti and select the option to explode. So if we now run the preview, you'll see that, as a player, I will be triggering this. And by the way, all of these smart items, or most of these smart items, are multiplayer, meaning that whatever I see, other players also see. So if we visited this with more than one player and the confetti explodes, other players will also see that confetti exploding. So now if I walk into my scene, there we go.
Awesome.
So, the other thing I wanted to show quickly is explain what this pink cube is all about. So you might have noticed this item here in the corner, which is also not visible in my scene. It's not, that players will see. But what this controls is the admin tools. The A stands for admin tools. And the admin tools allows me to have certain special options whenever I visit my scene, which only players who are admins will have. And those options are all accessed by this little icon here in the corner. So if I'm an admin of the scene, I will see this icon. Other players will not see this icon. If I click on it, it opens up a whole menu, which exposes a bunch of options. One of the things it allows me to do is stream videos, which in this case I don't have any videos in my scene, but I could add a video screen, which is right here, and then from the admin tools settings, I need to reference that video stream, and then I can either play videos from a URL, or I can live stream from OBS and stream a video directly into my scene and have everyone see it. The other thing I can do is activate any smart item in my scene. So for example, that confetti that I just added, I can also list it here. So back in the admin tool settings, if I click here in the smart item actions and add a reference to the confetti, give it a name, and select the default action, let's go with the explode again. So now with that configured, as an admin, I can also trigger this without depending on the normal way of triggering it. So I don't need to walk into the trigger area anymore. I can just activate it like this. And this, of course, is a dumb example, but you can do pretty much anything you want. You can maybe hide your sculpture and only show it when the time is right, and do a whole unveiling event about it. And yeah, play music also, or whatever you want, all from here. And the other tiny thing you can do from the admin tools is you can write messages, which are also seen by anyone. So and if I click share, everyone will see this little pop-up here at the bottom, which is a little bit more legit than writing into the chat, as this is only available to admins, so it's a bit more trustworthy. If you publish the scene yourself, then you automatically are an admin, and anyone who is the owner or has any kind of deploy rights to the scene will also be an admin. And once the scene is published, you will also see another option here, which allows you to access another menu, which will allow you to add more people as admins as well. But yeah, with that said, let's go into the more interesting part, which is how do we publish this? Once we're happy with our scene, how do we make it available to everyone else? And if you look up here on the top right button, the top right of the screen, there's a big red button that says Publish. Let's click that, and it will expose two different options. So Decentraland allows you two ways of publishing your scenes. One is to a world, and the other is to land. So let's go with the original way to publish scenes to Decentraland, which is land. Decentraland has always been an open world. It's a a very, very large expanse of terrain that has little 16 by 16 parcels, and people can own any one of these. And if we go, for example, to the marketplace, you will see that, let's go to land. You see that there's, a bunch of different parts of the map that are on sale. You can
Mm-hmm.
also look at the map as a whole and explore the whole thing, and you see that all of these blue, selections are estates that are on sale. Now, these can be quite expensive sometimes, and for my particular template, well, since it's a 4x4, I need to specifically find 4 parcels that are together, which is even harder. As you can see, many of these are single parcels. If I want to find 4 that are together, well, there are some, but again, that's significantly more expensive. So the cheaper and easier option is to instead go for worlds.
Mm.
Now, a
Just
world,
just before we move on to worlds, can I rent land? So if I don't want to
yes,
buy, but I
yeah,
just want to do
absolutely.
my gallery for a week, say there's an art week coming up, and I kind of do want to be with all the other builds inside of what we call Genesis City, which is all of
Mhm,
these 90,000 parcels connected together.
mhm.
Could I rent one? Is that possible too?
Yes, yes. There's also an option to rent, and yes, good point. That is, of course, a lot cheaper. And yeah, it's definitely another way to go about it. And as you can see, there's also quite a bunch of options. And by the way, if you're near the center of Genesis City, the land is going to be a lot more expensive and a lot less um, available. But if you go out into the outskirts, you'll find that there is a lot more available, and it's significantly cheaper than down downtown. Um, Also, there's different ways to obtain land, either from the foundation, or there's a lot of creators who own a lot of land who are happy to also lend their land to creators. If you go into Discord and talk with people, you might find someone who is kind enough to lend you their land, or lease it, or allow you for an event, or whatever. So that is also an option. You're
Just
not
as a
necessarily,
personal
yeah.
No, totally. Like as a personal story, when I started out in Decentraland as an artist with the Arts Collective building, and we never had to lease land because we approached landowners via Discord, became really engaged with what was happening in the DAO with
Mhm,
landowners, and usually people would say, "Oh, you're planning something?" Absolutely. So big shout out to
mhm,
people like Edifice Meta that hosted our installations 2, 3 years ago.
mhm. Yeah, the community is super helpful and kind. Yeah, don't worry if these price tags are a lot. It isn't the only option. And well, the other option, which is a lot cheaper and a lot easier and doesn't
Hmm.
require getting to know anyone, or feeling like you know you're now committed to go through with building something amazing, is to own a world. So worlds are like the much cheaper alternative, which allows you to publish something not to the open world, but to your own specific you know individual dimension, we can say. And you can make these as big as you want. And the nice thing also is that if you own a name in Decentraland, meaning one of these names that allow you to not have the little number at the end of your name, then you automatically have a world already. So you automatically can deploy to a world for each name that you own. So if you go instead to the builder site, decentraland.org/builder, which you can also access from the main page, you will see that. So there's a tab for the land I own. In this case, I'm using my girlfriend's account because it's a lot similar to an empty account. If I had mine, like, there was just too much noise. But if you go to the names tab, you'll see that she, in this case, owns this one name, Mariana. And thanks to owning this name, she is able to publish to that world.
Hmm.
So by the way, you can click the button mint a new name here as well. And with that, you will be able to claim your own name, which will, by the way, also make it so that your name appears without the numbers at the end inside the Decentraland. And this costs only 100 mana. So yeah, it's a lot more affordable than buying land.
So 100 mana, as we're making this video, what is about
like
Like
$33,
30, yeah. So between
something,
$30 and $40.
mhm,
Yeah.
somewhere in that ballpark here.
And do I have to renew that name, or do I buy
No,
it once and that's mine forever?
it's yeah, it's a one-time payment and you have it forever. Yeah. So owning a name allows you to publish a world. If I go to the Worlds tab here, you'll see that there's a limit to how much I can store in my worlds. I can have several worlds, and in total, my collection of worlds it has a budget of 100 megabytes that I can fill up. If I have two worlds, then those will be shared between those two worlds. But also, there's a number of things that can allow me to have yeah, extra mileage in my megabytes. For example, if I own multiple names, or if I own mana in my account, or other things, would also extend this limit. But by
Mm.
default, it's 100, which is a fairly good number. Like this tutorial, this template I'm building easily fits in like 30 or 20 or 30 megabytes. So it should be perfectly fine. Um, so yeah, that being said, we right now already have a name. If you don't have a name, you can click here on the mint new name to get one. And thanks to that, if I go back to the Creator Hub and I select the option Publish to a World, I will see that if I select a name, I have a bunch of different names to pick. In fact, oh, sorry, this is because here I'm logged in with my other account, with my actual account. So let's do something. Let's go back and log in instead of myself with my girlfriend's account, just to be consistent with what we were just seeing.
Does Mariana know that you're doing this?
Um, no, but to be honest, she only uses it to enter the central and not to create content, and I mostly use it just to test things, to be honest. And she doesn't have anything published anyway, so it's not like I'm going to overwrite anything.
I feel like we
So
should rename the gallery though as Mariana's gallery, if we're.
sure, let's go for that. Yeah. Instead of my art gallery, yeah, that I'm taking the credit.
Awesome.
There we
Ready.
go. Perfect. So now if we publish, as I'm logged in as her. By the way, if you haven't logged in so far, you will be asked to log in at this step of the process.
Mm-hmm.
And if I publish to a world, now instead, oh, am I still logged in as myself? Oh no, it's just that I have given her access to a whole lot of other scenes. So yeah, she can publish to any one of these names, including her own. And by the way, here's also the option to claim a new name. So if you don't have any names, you can also
Mm-hmm.
jump straight there. You don't need to first access the builder. You can just click here, and it will open the same page we were seeing before, right here. So that is like the easier path to get the
Yeah.
name in case you don't have one. So if I select Mariana and publish, it's going to first show me all of the files that are in my scene. And by the way, it tells me that in total I have 20 megabytes used up. And these are all of the files in my scene. And this is a good opportunity to revise and see if there's anything, significantly heavy that maybe I'm not using in the end. Maybe I'm imported some images that, at the end of the day I decide not to use, but they're still part of the folder.
Mm.
They're still going to be uploaded.
And why
So,
is that important? Why do I have to check that?
well, you might be going over your budget, and in that case, you won't be allowed to publish. So, and also, the lighter the scene is, the better for the player, since it will take longer to load and and get the scene running for the players. So if you can make it lighter, players will be thankful for it.
So even if so for example, if I uploaded a big sculpture, didn't
Mhm.
use it, but it's still in my files here, that's going to
Yes.
impact my load times, just as it
Yes.
would. Okay.
Yes.
So
So you
best
have
to
to be
delete
mindful about that.
anything.
Yes, yeah, be mindful about that. You can also, before going here, you can go to local files and see
Mm.
what's here and delete from here. But well, it's a good idea to be exposed to this at last minute, just in case.
And what about if I'm a bit afraid? Like, can I make a backup of this before I do anything
Hmm.
like delete files?
Great question. Um, Not so easily. I mean, if you work with GitHub, for example, then
Mm.
definitely I advise putting your scene in a GitHub repo, and there you will be able to undo any actions just in case. But well, if you're not familiar with GitHub, that might be a bit of an intimidating step. So we do have plans to make this a little bit smarter and warn you for each one of these files if they are being referenced by anything in the visual interface of the scene or not. The tricky part is that if your scene uses code, then it might still be in use in more indirect ways. Maybe there's a random, a random part of your code that based on some random number shows one file or another. So it's not so easy for us to check in those cases, but we can at least warn you in case none of the UI part of the scene is referencing the model, because here it's super straightforward. We do have that as a future project, but unfortunately not for now.
Awesome. So I can check it manually. I can go to my files. If I click a file, I'll see where it is in the scene as well, that it gets highlighted. So if I see anything highlighted in the scene, don't delete that. You can just delete anything that you're not using. And then once I've cleaned that up, what's my next step?
So click the publish button and accept this. And
Cool.
we
And
are...
so tell me about that. There's a big alert there.
Yeah.
Do I have to be bothered about that, or do I just approve it?
No, what that alert says basically is that if your scene was already published and you published it again, your scene might be experiencing some like 15 minutes or so of downtime until it's processed and showing up again. So if you're republishing right before an event, be mindful. That could be a risky decision. So always try to publish with at least half an hour of anticipation before an event, and if more time, better. So basically it's going to first upload the files, and then it's going to convert all of the files into a more lightweight format so that it loads faster for players. And that can take anywhere from a couple of minutes to maybe 15 or 20 minutes. Or really, since it relies on a whole queue with a server, it can take a little bit longer than that if there's like a long queue of other people also uploading their scenes at the same time. So,
can I close this window? Can I navigate away from it, or do I leave it?
Yes, you're able to close it, and you'll see that there's this little notification here, which tells you that there's a publication in process, and I can open it back from there.
Awesome. And could I work in another project? So say if I've got two lands and I'm publishing this one, can I work on something different while that's working?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, if I go out of the project, I'll still be able to jump into that.
Cool.
In fact, after the first part of the process, notice that there is the uploading and then the converting. The uploading does involve your machine, so don't close the Creator Hub while that is going on. But the converting part is 100% like server side. So you can close the Creator Hub, and you can even turn off your machine at this point, and it won't make any difference.
That's good to know.
Basically, I'd love to jump in, and we can jump in together and see it. But for that, we'll have to wait a couple more minutes for this to be ready.
So, even though we've got a couple of minutes, so tell me then, we've got these 3 ways of publishing. We can buy a name for at the moment between sort of $40 and $50. That gives you this land that has 100 meg on it. How many parcels do I get if I have a world?
Pretty much as many as you want. That is not the limitation. In fact, we were just discussing if we want to have a limitation, but like the number is like 45 by 45. It's massive.
Wow.
If we are going to add a limitation at all. So yeah, a 2 by 2 is nothing. You can make it as big as you want.
Awesome. So I get my name, I have my scene, I just click publish in world. That happens automatically, and we go through this process. I can buy land. So if I want to be based permanently in Genesis City, where all of the foundation events take place, where everyone spawns into, where I can have that discoverability of people running around world and coming across my build, then I can buy land, I can rent land. I think I can rent it for hours or days, whatever I want to do in terms of the event. And then also I can talk to the community. So if I'm an artist or a not-for-profit, I can talk and say, hey, this is an activation that I want to do. Could anyone advise? Is there anyone that wants to collaborate? And with that, I think, do you want to talk a little bit about operator rights, like what that is
Yeah,
and how
yeah,
that
yeah.
works?
Good point. So yes, when I own land, I so by owning land, I automatically am able to publish to that land, but I can also allow other people to publish to that same land. So okay, let's jump to my account because I do own some land and I can show you from there.
Okay.
Um, so there I just switched. And could jump to my assets and land. So in my case, I own a couple of like 2 parcel scenes. And in this case, so I'm able to publish here, but also I can assign other people to be, to be operators. So
Mm.
basically, they are able to publish to my land, even though they don't own the asset. They won't be able to say sell the asset, for example, but they will be able to, make use of it. So if I select it from here, if I click on the manage button, I can sell or rent. Oh, sorry. This is because I'm in the marketplace. So from the builder, this is where I need to manage this. Yes. So come to the builder and to the land tab. Still logged in as Mariana. That's why. Let me reload. There we are. Now I'm logged in as myself, and here I have my land. And from here, if I select one of these lands, I should be able to um, here set an operator. So from here, I can give rights to someone else. So for example, if Bay, you wanted to publish to my scene, I can paste your address here. And from now on, you should be able to publish to the scene just as if it belonged to you. So
Awesome.
this is what creators often do when they, in good spirit, let people publish to their land. They set other people as operators so that they also have the rights to it.
And they can decide how long to give me. Then you can revoke that
Mhm.
operator rights when
Mhm.
my activation's over
Mhm.
and change that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
And
So operator rights for someone that has land and wants to lend it to you. Renting if you don't know anyone that has land and you just want to rent something short term. If you want to invest and be part of the Genesis Plaza community and have a permanent build, then buying land. And then if you want to completely experiment and create your own world and be in a really affordable way, just start experimenting, then Decentraland name, which gives you access to your own world.
mhm.
And
Exactly.
how do I jump into my own world? Like once, because obviously getting into Genesis Plaza is super easy. You just
Mhm.
download Decentraland, jump in, and you're immediately in Genesis City via Genesis
Mhm.
Plaza, which is where you spawn
Yeah.
into Decentraland. What
Mhm.
about if I have a world? Like how do I share that with people? How do I jump in myself?
Great question. Yes. So the if I just published, by the way, the publish process is already done. I
Awesome.
can click the jump in button and see it for myself. And you will see here also that you have a shareable link. In this case, it looks like this, and you can paste this in a browser anywhere, and this will automatically open up to the Decentraland client with this world as its destination. So it's Decentraland two dots slash slash question mark realm equals mariana.dcl.eth or whatever your name is.
Mm.
So that is how you share it as a link. Also, if you enter the Decentraland and let me close the preview before. If you enter the Decentraland, you can open the chat and oh sorry, because I had my preview window still.
Multiples. Yeah.
Yeah. If I type into the chat a special command, which I'll now show you, you can also travel straight to a world by name. So here I am inside this world, and this is published. This is real time.
This
So
isn't a preview. This is actually in Mariana's world right now.
exactly, it's no longer running in my local machine. It's running in in the servers. So if you want to join me, Bay, I can share you the link. There we go. If you paste that into any browser window, you should also be able to jump right in.
Awesome.
There's a confetti. And I don't know if you also hear the background sounds, but there's birds chirping in the background. And so the way you jump into a world, and this you can do from inside Genesis Plaza or anywhere. Oh, the window just closed. For some reason, Sunshine just closed for me. Going back in. And so the way you enter any world, this can be done from inside Genesis Plaza or from any other world, is typing into the chat the following command: /go_to all together as a single word, and the name of the world .dcl.eth. So .dcl.eth, like this. For example, if I want to travel instead to one of the worlds I own, in this case nicoe.dcl.eth, and type that in, and I will be transported straight into that world.
Cool. I'm going to join you, but I'm joining on my laptop. So
Sure.
I have
no,
you know what it's like. I have a different profile on my.
No rush. I'm right now in a different world, but I'll jump right back to the one I just
join you in a second. I'm just jumping into Decentraland now.
Great.
And while I'm jumping in, what else then? So created the world. I'm sharing it with my friends. I'm having a gallery opening. Anything else that I should know as a new venue art gallery owner in Decentraland?
Well, in the next half of this tutorial, you look into how you can make this discoverable, because as you can see, like worlds are not so easy to find, but there's different ways that you can hype it up and make it make it available to everyone to discover.
Awesome. I'm running into the gallery now, so you should be able to.
Great. And I just saw the confetti. Awesome. Great. So yeah, I can't think of anything else right now.
I think this is great. I think it's taken us from starting out, downloading Creator Hub. So if you missed that bit and you're thinking, this looks really impressive, how do I get a gallery like this? It's super easy. So you download Creator Hub from decentraland.org, you get started, you use the gallery template, you can hang things on your walls. That's all in workshop 1 of this series. This is workshop 2, which talks about publishing your gallery, whether that's in a land, whether it's in the world, whether it's with operator rights from someone else, helping you out, giving you access to yours. All of these kind of great things that can happen. And then the next half of this video, we're going to talk about, you have this gallery, you are now a gallery owner. How do you promote that and start sharing your work more widely? Nico, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for taking us through all of these incredible things that we can do. The sticky bit. This is, you've opened your gallery with me and Nico in the last half of this workshop, and now you want to promote it. So I brought in the experts. I brought in Kim Courier, and you know her as Master Waynes from the Decentraland Foundation. Do you want to introduce yourself and why is this an important part of the galleries in Decentraland?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Kim. I'm the head of marketing and partnerships here at the foundation, and I'm super excited to talk to you all about how to get more exposure to the beautiful gallery that you've created.
I'm Dana, aka Master Waynes, also the social goblin, and I manage the Decentraland Foundation social accounts.
Okay, so everyone that was with us in the last half of the video has already created and launched their gallery, whether it's on a land, whether it's in world, whether it's on leased, rented, bought. We've covered all the options, but the gallery is there. So what would you say is the absolute next step once you have your gallery?
Do you want to go first, Dana, or you want me to?
I feel like we might have the same answer, which is like an opening party is like a great way to like kick off your gallery in Decentraland. It's like a thing that in Decentraland common is culture is super common. And people, it's a thing that's like celebrated. Like it's a big deal if you have a new build. People want to come and they want to like think of it as like a housewarming. Like they want to help you like open your space. Yeah. Kim, were you like thinking the same thing? Or, yeah.
Yeah, so I think hosting your first event and a gallery opening is such a fun first event because you have something to show, right? Like you have your art that you want people to see, and that's the point of building here is so that you can share your beautiful work with the community and they can come and celebrate it and enjoy. The biggest way to do an opening party is create an event page. That's step one. And the event page, I would do your gallery name, opening party, and or opening party, launch party, whatever it is that makes the most sense for you. But our event page is the way to get your event marketed in Decentraland. And it is free to publish on. So you could just jump into decentraland.org/events. And you could kind of see from here how we handle that. And you could publish it super easy. I could tell Bay is already showing you. You just hit submit event in the top right corner, the big red button. Here, so you will need a headline graphic. So I recommend either like something visually beautiful to your style, or even go in World and capture your gallery and put a picture here. The biggest recommendation I would say is keep your text and your main content right in that middle of the photo, so that no matter how it's cropped, the main information is always available to you. And make your description as detailed as possible. So you could see here your event name, your description. You could preview it. I would explain who you are because people may not know if you're new to Decentraland. Like, tell a little bit about yourself. This is the place to explain why you should come and what is it people will expect to see. So you could do bullets. Some people use emojis. Like you could kind of design how you want, and you could use your preview to see what it looks like.
I don't know if you
I would keep it detailed.
I have my birthday party. I don't know if you want to go to like my event and show what I did for mine, Bay. Mm-hmm. But I have a description. You should be able to scroll down.
Yeah, we also have the Art Week one too.
Oh yeah, maybe that's more on theme.
That's okay. No, the birthday party's
but, like,
great.
This is, I mean, you can see, that's my birthday party right there. Super awesome, amazing, incredible. Yeah.
No, the one right above that one. Dana's birthday party. Yeah. So yeah, you could make your own graphic.
Like, I think what is your personality? I think like the events page is I think you can think about it kind of like as an extension of like your social profiles. Like what is your like, oh, I kind of did a crap job of my, I didn't realize that was a description I used. but like, I think when you're making your like gallery opening, like event, like think of your event page as like an extension of your art gallery and like also of yourself and also of your like personality. So if you want to be cheeky, like be cheeky on the event page. If it's like a more serious event, like make it more like, I think like this is a perfect example of like, this is a more like crafted experience. So Kim, I don't know if you want to go like even before, because I have thoughts about like promoting your event. Like I think it's really good to show people like the building process even before you get to like the event moment, because I think like building your story on social is also a really important part of like launching your gallery into Decentraland and like showing people what you're up to and like using your networks throughout the whole process. Yeah,
absolutely. Go ahead. I was going to say just do the,
Yeah, let's stop and just do a quick deep dive on event page so we can go everyone that's new, this is event page, and then we can talk about all the marketing mix that we can do around a new
Exactly.
build launch. So event page, what else do I need to know? Is there anything I can't put in my description?
So there's no images in here. So you can see it's text-based, simple emojis. You can hyperlink if you need to. So if you have a portfolio or a brand page or something that you really want to show people, your X account, for example, like follow me for more behind the scenes if you're going to be doing behind the scenes content, like you could totally do all of that. So here, Bay can show you. For the hyperlinks, you do need to use typical web. What's the technical language? Go ahead, Bay.
Markdown.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yes, Markdown language. So you need the brackets with the parentheses for it to work that way. But I do recommend linking if there's something people should be following along, and especially if you're new building here, definitely put your Twitter account, your X account. This is a great way for people to follow your story, because Dana will get into all the good social content that we think you should do when you have an event. But having your event page is where I would start, so that you can link people there to funnel the traffic to all of the details. You should definitely be clear on your start and end time. This helps us to pull it in for like what's happening now in World and in Plaza, so people can see like there is a live event. So that's why your start and end time is important. I would do your end time for how long you think the event's actually going to go. A lot of people end up doing their end time so short. And so think about like how long you plan to have people there and keep your end time accurate. For that, this is repeat or not repeat. So if it's a one-time event, if you plan to do something in your scene every Tuesday, for example, you could do that as well.
And just to roll back on timings, now, UTC, that might be new for some people that haven't been in virtual worlds before. What is UTC? Why does it say UTC there?
I think it's Universal Time. I forget what the C is. Universal Time Clock Coordinator. I don't even know. We just all use it. So yeah, I use this site, World Time Buddy. That's the one Bay is showing. I use that to convert everything. But we use UTC in Decentraland just to be very global, not pick a time zone preference. It's pretty well known in the virtual world space to kind of go UTC, which is Coordinated Universal Time. Right. That's what it is. So for me, that's usually like a +8. So you'll learn what your UTC time is. I just use World Buddy because everyone's time zones change all the time. I just double check in World Buddy.
Is anyone else's OCD bothered by the fact that it's called Coordinated Universal Time, but
insane.
it's UTC? Like, who decided on this naming convention?
And also, the World Time Buddy only allows 10 time zones. So you start, once you get used to being in virtual worlds, you're like loading up the time zones here to make sure it works across all of your audiences. But yeah, you can see I've got it pinned on my menu here because we use it so much. But yes, back to the events. Coordinated Universal Time, it's the standard across all of those countries. You can check, you can make it work for you. And once you create the event, if you're unsure, when you publish it, you're actually going to see it in your time anyway. So if we do that now, I'll show you, just to show you the time. So we save that, it will publish. Kim, does it publish straight away if I'm using this as a new event creator?
As a new event creator, it'll actually go into like a pending section that we see on our end. It usually will get published within 24 hours. So I recommend if you're going to do an event, try to give yourself at least a week ahead of time, because it'll take us a day to publish, and then you want time for people to see it. We do a newsletter that goes out every Thursday. So if you have an event loaded ahead of time and it seems exciting, we pick about 3 events a week to feature in the newsletter. We try our best to like switch it up, showcase new creators. So if you want a chance of being featured in the newsletter, make sure it is up and live at least the Tuesday before.
Awesome. So I've created my event listing. I can see it now in my time zone. You can see I'm in Central European time, which is 2 hours right now ahead of UTC. It will appear differently for all of your friends, invitees, so they can see it in their time. What else do I need to know about the event page before we move on?
The coordinates is the biggest part. So making sure you actually link your event to your scene. So these numbers in the bottom right. So like -140, -86. Those are the coordinates of this scene we had put in. So just be clear on the map, where's your land that this is deployed to. If it's a world, it will show the world link. I always recommend adding the chords or the world address in your tweets, in wherever you're going. Like, our event is at, these are the chords, this is the world. Once they get in world, they can obviously search for it, find it, but it's nice to just like hit it over the head. Assume, the biggest marketing advice I give anyone is assume someone is seeing it for the first time, even if you've talked about it 50 times. We know with the algorithms today, it is very rare that someone sees all of your content. You're lucky if you get on someone's feed. I read a stat, it was a while ago, but it was about 2%. Your followers see about 2% of your content. So ensure you're talking about it early, often, and you include the key details in every post. So that's kind of the advice around the event page. But doing your event page, it'll probably only take you like 5 minutes to set it all up once you have the image and you know the details. So that is a key way to get it in front of the Decentraland core audience. But I would love to have Dana talk more about like getting outside the Decentraland core audience and getting it in front of your audience and how we can help to amplify that.
Do you want me to just like
pick
it up? Okay. Well, I think I was talking about this before, but like the narrative, like the lead up to the event itself, I think is really important. I think we have like fear over showing like more what do I say? What's the word I'm looking for? Like, not authentic, but like the messy bits. Like, we don't really want to show like the messy bits, but I think, and like we've seen this on the Decentraland side of things, when we show like B-roll footage, like people in Blender or people working in Unity or people working in like whatever the tool is that you're using to like model in 3D, even if it's like Meshy AI or a tool that isn't like hand done, you know, like that content, that like B-roll behind the scenes content, like it will outperform the like pristine, nicely edited. Like people, I don't know if it's like we're in an era of everything being perfect, and so we have like a hunger for like not perfect things, but those will perform well. So I think it's a really good thing to not be afraid of like building your story through the process. Like,
lean into the part of you that makes you you. I think this is Rustan, who's one of our artists who has also done a build for Art Week. So go find and get inspired by people that you see their work, people that are successful in Decentraland, that have done good work in Decentraland and repeatedly get people to their builds. Rustan's a great example of someone like that. So go in and just like, don't replicate, but get inspired by their style and think how you could put your own twist on it. I think being able to sit down and maybe like do a little exploration of yourself of like, if I had 5 words to describe my tone and my style, what would they be? And you could go through that exploration publicly, like build in public style, or you could just do that privately and think like, I'm going to make sure my profile exemplifies this. So for me, my personal brand, when I think of my social profile, is a lot of my work. So that tends to mean I do a lot of Decentraland content. And that's because I like showing my professional expertise. I also really love being outside, working out, California culture. So I make sure I have some content around that. I am a working mom. I do some content around that. So like I have different pillars that I make sure my content hits. And so show that broad range of your personality if that's something you're comfortable with. And everyone's range is totally different. Some people are like, my range is art, and I will show this part and this part and this part, and that's totally cool. And my range is like whole life personality to some level of privacy. And so it's totally cool to figure that out and build your own personality. And I know, Bae, you've done a lot of this on your brand perspective too. So would love you to weigh in on how, as an artist and a creator, you've developed your social presence.
It's a really good question. Just a plug. So workshop on curator secrets. There's a whole section on
Mm-hmm.
digital identity online, consistency across social platforms, consistency across websites, knowing which identities you're using for which part of your portfolio. Because a lot of us have portfolio careers, especially
Totally.
artists. Like you have to segment maybe some of your life as being for my full-time wage earning role at this point of my life. This other part of me is my experimental, crazy artist, controversial side. And for a lot of us in the digital world, we separate those completely. So yes, if you are here at Art Week Live, join me for the interactive workshop on curation.
Don't dismiss LinkedIn. Working in this Web3 and artist space, I know a lot of people are like, ugh, it's so corporate, it's so traditional, I can't use an anon name there, like all of those things, depending on, again, your professional situation. Some people want to keep those separate, and I totally understand. But consider, does this make sense to have a professional profile on LinkedIn? It is a place where people are looking for workshops, events, professional partnerships. So if that's the type of art you want to do where you're looking for brand partnerships, they may look on LinkedIn. So just something to keep in mind, where Web3 is so XXX, Twitter, maybe Instagram, depending, like, because it's such a visual platform, but just consider, does LinkedIn make sense for the persona you're creating?
If you can add like some element of like interactivity, because people in Decentraland also love to post. Like a lot of these people embody their avatars. Like this is who they are. And so like it's like if you went to an art gallery and you took a selfie in front of like the Mona Lisa or like, whatever. That is like what they're going to do. They're going to go into your world and like take selfies. So if there's like a way to add some sort of like photo specific moment or like some sort of, I think it's really fun. I'm thinking back to like the Squid Games build, but like so many people from the Decentraland community captured themselves falling in this build. So like if there is a way to like make some sort of aha, like wow photo moment for people, I think that's really great, because then that UGC will just end up on the timeline without you having to ask for it. It's just something people will do. And you can use that content after.
Just to clarify two things before we move on, new people coming in. So UGC, user-generated content. So people coming into your build, interacting with it, sharing them on social networks. And also that in the platform itself, one of the big terms and conditions of the platform is that you're not infringing on anyone else's IP. So if you are doing something inspired by something that gets you, that moves you, like your favorite TV program, that's totally fine as long as it stays within fan culture. So you're not using the IP of anyone else, whether that's a creator, whether it's a brand, like that's something.
Wait, I don't know if you want to go into like how to do that correctly, but I think that's something that like would be useful for people. Like if they are trying to like pull in some piece of like that's like very current on social, or like how would they do that in the correct way? Do you have any tips?
I think it's a really good question. I think AI is actually your friend in this. You can ask it, like, do you think I'm infringing on someone's IP here? Like, it will tell you, like, upload the photo, take a photo of what you're doing. Like, is this infringing? And it will say, yeah, look, you are using someone's brand. It's things like logos, identity. Like if you're using someone else's GLB model. So if you're taking a GLB model and putting it in your build without their permission, it's just not okay. You want to do reverse image searches on Google as well. That's always really useful if you're a designer, just taking a picture of what you've done, reverse image searching it on Google and making sure, oh, hey, yeah, it looks like this other creator's work. And probably most creators that are experienced in the industry feel uncomfortable using something that someone else could say, hey, like, hang on, this is very close to mine. It gets back to promotion. So we've only got a couple more minutes maximum. So your key takeaways. I've built my gallery. I've launched it in Decentraland. What would you say are the top 3 things to do to really make this fly?
I would say the thing that a lot of people forget is capture footage at your event. So that you can use it as a portfolio piece, a case study, whatever you may do, and you could do recaps of things you learned, but also just for your own memory. Like, it's nice to remember that people came and get pictures of your build with people in it, hanging out, having a good time. It's a celebratory moment. And I think so many of us try to be present and be in the thing. So there are tons of amazing Decentraland videographers in our community. So you could always hire someone to come. You could ask the community if they have footage, but just don't forget to capture footage of special moments, because they are kind of fleeting at times, and you want to be able to remember it and also be able to use it for future promotion. We do this with all of our events. We hire different angles, perspectives to capture it so that we can use it to promote the next event. So that little bit of FOMO feel of like, oh, I missed this last time. It looked so fun. I want to be at the next one. So that would be one piece of advice of have your capture plan in place. Whether you're doing it, someone else, doesn't matter. Just have your plan. Promote early, often. That's the second one. And have fun. Those would be my three. I don't know, Dana, if you have different three, but those are mine.
I don't know if I have three, but like one that I think is really, really underrated is like, well, I guess there's like two parts to this, but if people are posting about your content, like talk to them. Like
Baseline.
Yeah, every mention on social that you get, I do this with Decentraland. Like anytime we're mentioned, I want to make sure that you get a reply back from us because we see you. Like I think, and that is critical to like community development too, because it's that is a real human saying thank you for coming to my event. That connection, even though it's over the internet and like you might not see each other's faces, goes a really long way. And it, whether subconsciously or consciously, will make people want to be around you and want to participate in your events in the future. So I think
That's a great tip.
engage with people, and like that's crucial to community development. And then I would also say like if you can find, like, I don't know if they're fans, but like believers, like people that are like, if you continue to do events and you continue to do things, and like there's certain people that like are always there, or like they always buy your wearable, like reach out and try to get them to be like your like I'm gonna make like an event. Can you like post with me? Like almost like your like buddy influencer person. And like people are just like, people will do that, especially if it's like a person. I have done that for my friends. I know Kim has done that for people too. So like I wouldn't be afraid to like ask for help from people in this way. So I guess like that. I don't know if that was three, but like those are the things that I would say or like stick out in my head.
It's fabulous. We could talk so much about this. We've got to wrap it up. Just a big shout out. Go to decentraland.org/Art Week for the full program of workshops, immersive experiences, parties. There's so much going on over the next 4 days. And if you missed this, if you're catching up, subscribe to the Decentraland newsletter and jump into the immersive arts community in Decentraland. It's going to be covered in loads of the workshops, how to keep engaging with us, how to be part of the art community in this amazing virtual world. Thank you so much, Dana and Kim. We will see you at the next workshop. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Day.